This is the new Hyundai KONA Electric, and it's a bit like when David Beckham shaved all his hair off, in the sense that it's still a Hyundai KONA, just stands out from the crowd that bit more. And why is that? Well, the new KONA has this very much facelifted design from the previous generation, which means it feels like a brand new car, despite it feeling like the same old KONA. In the interior, it's very much upgraded to fit with modern times, and you have little accents towards the Hyundai Ioniq range, with the little pixels down here and across the headlights. But one of the main big differences from this to the previous generation is the size. Now, the KONA is still classed as a compact SUV, however this car has a much upgraded wheelbase and length. But how does that fare out on the road? You slightly feel that increase in size, in the sense that your drive position feels much higher up, that longer bonnet, then you feel like you need to be higher up to be able to see over it, and you can quite comfortably. But I found when I've been driving around that the increase in length isn't at all noticed that much. It still feels like a compact SUV, although on the outside, very much looks like a mid to high sized SUV.
So it's noticed by me though, the longer wheelbase. I've got tons of room in the passenger seat here, so that's pretty good for comfort.
I know, because you're a very lanky person. I'm very much jealous of your
lanky.
height. I would say lanky. Compared to me, I would compare you as lanky, but you feel very comfortable.
I am comfortable. I've still got loads of room to go back as well, so yeah, it's really comfortable in the front here.
To be fair, I think the increase in size is definitely felt with the seats. In fact, you do have them fully electric seats. You can also save 2 seating positions, and you seem very comfortable in this car. I've been in cars with you, these smaller hatchbacks we've been reviewing, and you've not really fared too well, have you?
Hatchbacks are a nightmare, mate. I'm long, difficult to get in and out of. I've never got knee room. I'm always bashing my knees up against the dashboard. So yeah, it's nice being in something big, something comfy. You know what? It feels like you're chauffeuring me around right now. It's really comfy.
But then that's because of the KONA. It has that premium feel about it, doesn't it? I mean, the old KONA, yes, was a good car, but I do feel it had that sense of looking a bit like a mummy type SUV. If that's the right term. You know where I'm getting at.
Yeah, I know what you're getting at. It doesn't really. The old KONA doesn't have that cool factor, does it?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Cool.
And I think this interior with the design of the seats, it does look like the interior of the Ioniq 6 or Ioniq 5, I must say that, especially the way the seats are shaped. But it's even like this top spec has that nice suede pattern on. Feel very comfy. You also get heated and cooling seats. So winter or summer, you're going to be very comfortable in this car. So established that the front of the new KONA is very much a nice place to be. What about the back, cameraman?
Yeah, decent back here, mate. Loads of room. Got a little tray table I can put my drinks in. Overall, I'd say it's pretty comfy.
Would you say the back feels a lot more roomier than the previous KONA?
100%. I'm quite a tall guy and I feel like I've got tons of room back here, loads of knee room.
Question then, what's comfier, front or the back?
You know what, I'd still say the front. Because like I said, I'm a tall guy. Sometimes in the passenger seat you don't get a lot of room to move your seat back, keep your knees off the dash. But yeah, the front's really nice.
But what about range and charging? Well, the new KONA has 2 battery size options of 48 kilowatt hour and 65 kilowatt hour. The lesser of the two comes with a max range of 234 miles, with the 65 kilowatt has a max range of 319 miles. But that is if you have the 17-inch alloys rather than 19-inch, which I do find a bit strange. However, 319 max range is all pretty good. And when it comes to charging, you can actually get from 10 to 80% in just 15 minutes using one of the fast chargers. So, although this is great living space, you're not really going to be spending much time charging up, because if you do have a daily commute of around about 50 miles, you won't need to charge this car within 6 days. When it comes to performance, well, it performs how you'd expect a mid-size SUV to perform, really. It's got a 0-60 time of 7.8 seconds, but it does feel a bit quicker than that, I would say.
It does feel quicker, to be fair. When you're coming off it roundabouts or turning junction, it feels like it's got a bit of zip to it, doesn't it?
I mean, that's probably helped the fact that this is an EV, so you do get that bit of extra zippiness than you would if this had a combustion engine, like you do on this standard KONA. But it does feel, it's very responsive. You're not going to have an issue pulling out of junctions in this car. You have multiple driving modes. Now, if we put it into sport and test this out, because it already feels quite zippy. It feels much zippier, doesn't it?
It does feel, it's more, I don't know how it can get more responsive because it's an EV.
Exactly,
but it feels more responsive still.
It feels very good, to be honest. It feels like you could have a lot of fun driving this car, even though you might point this out of being more of like a family car, because it's very spacious and fairly low cost in terms of cars in this day and age, but you can have a lot of fun with that.
I'll tell you what else is cool, when you swapped to sport mode, is you know the ring around the speed,
Yeah.
speedometer ring, comes up like a little racetrack.
I know it's
Which
little
is pretty
features
cool.
like that to make it just enhance the driving experience, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's even one of the most safest cars out there on the road, because just above the steering wheel you have a little sensor, so if you take your eyes off the road for too long, then it will alert you to make you focus. So as a family car, this is ideal because it's full with safety features. You have adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, obviously like stuff like emergency braking. You have blind spot monitoring, and of course them 360 parking cameras. And when it comes to the top spec, you also get them nice features like the head-up display. So you shouldn't really be taking your eyes off the road, because it shows your traffic sign recognition, it shows your built-in navigation and the speed you're doing. So all in all, this could be a perfect family car, but I feel like it should be classed more than that. It shouldn't just be branded as a family car. People might have a bit of stereotypes what a family car is. I think this could be for everyone. It feels very premium.
I mean, we're enjoying it right now. We're not family people. We haven't got families. We're two young lads, and we're actually having a great time in this car right now.
And I don't have a plan to start a family anytime soon, I must say. But like I said, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying my drive. It handles very well. Yes, it has an extended wheelbase, but I'm staying in the lines on the motorway very comfortably. I don't feel like I'm encroaching. And when I need to change lanes, then I don't feel like I need to quickly, rush out. Don't feel like I'm going to hit anyone. All in all, it's a very pleasant drive. Even just like little features like when you indicate and it shows the cameras so you can see your blind side. So you're not going to be scratching it. If you do scratch this car, then you've been a bad driver essentially, because there's cameras all the way around this car. But just little features like that makes this car feel very premium. Like I said about the old Kona, yes, it was a good car. It was very, very practical. It's a very reliable car, but I don't think it had that wow factor about it. But the new Kona, especially the new Kona EV, definitely does. You have that really big swooping infotainment screen which connects to your digital dash.
And I feel like people are looking at it on the road as well, because it just looks interesting.
Yeah.
That massive horizon light.
It really
is
stands
really
out.
unique.
I do think it's a little bit Marmite, that front end. I've heard people compare it to Daft Punk, the nose of this car, but I'm a fan of it. It's unique, it stands out, but then you can also, I think, if you know about cars, you can tell it's a Hyundai. If you cover that Hyundai badge, you'll be able to spot it with them pixelated designs.
Well, like you were saying earlier about Hyundai having quite a uniformed look at the minute, you can see it in this car as well, can't you? Their brand looks really solid right now.
Yeah, 100%. And, if you look ahead to next year and they're releasing an Ioniq 7, another car which is going to be very uniform to the rest of the range. And I think the Kona deserved an upgrade. It's a reliable car, but it needs to be ahead of the times, and I think it is. In terms of just being like comfy on your drive, like I mentioned, it has adaptive cruise control, so if you're doing a long motorway drive, then it's going to be a doddle. You don't really have to do anything, but the amount of storage you get in the centre console, I am a massive fan of these cup holders, I must say.
Yeah,
the fact that
you can mess with them, can't you, as well?
They're really satisfying. It's so
Cling
simple. But then the fact if you don't have a cup, to put in them, you put them away and you've got so much storage. You also have that wireless charging pads. You have a little shelf and more deep pockets. Deep pockets in your doors. I mean, it's full of space, this car. Another really nice addition, which we see across the Hyundai range, but on the Kona EV, you get a bit more, is the fact that this can link to BlueLink, so you can schedule charge, you can find where your car is. You can actually use your smartphone as a key. So not only this, when you're getting into the house and you've got loads of stuff in your hands, you're getting the shopping in, you can quickly lock the door with your smartphone. Or in winter, if you see your windscreen is full of ice, how annoying is it when you're out there and you get a scraper? Or sometimes even worse when you can't find the scraper and you've got to use your credit card to just scrape it up. How annoying is that? But with the BlueLink app, you can actually preset the climate controls, so you can get rid of all that ice, you can warm up your car, and you don't have to get in your car and be freezing on your drive. Here's 3 small things that I like about the new Kona. Number 1 is the increase in size from the previous generation. This car has a bigger wheelbase and is longer in length than the previous model. However, you don't feel that out on the road. You feel like you sit much higher up, but ultimately it still feels like a compact SUV. Number 2 is the uniformity in design. You have that constant pixel design all around, which links to the Ioniq range. And we take a closer look. The rear light comes all the way around, joins up with this line going all the way around the sides, and at the front links up to that Horizon headlight at the front. Very uniform, very modern, very good Hyundai. The third thing is something very simple, is in fact the design of the cup holders. How satisfying is that? It's very simple, it's very effective. You don't have them really awkward deep ones. It means if you don't have a cup, you've got plenty more storage. And I could do that for hours.
So satisfying.
And 3 things I'm not the biggest fan of about the new Hyundai Kona. Number 1 is this design. I feel like the new Kona feels very futuristic, but this just feels a bit cluttered. It's very much reminiscent of the current Santa Fe, and I just think that if this was a bit more flush, feels like a bit more futuristic, it would bring a whole new level to the Kona. Number 2 is to do with the 360 cameras. Yes, they are really helpful, but one little thing I've noticed is on this bit where you circle it around, it doesn't actually match up with the colour of your car. How nice would it be if that was the exact same colour as the car you've got? Just little touches like that will make it feel more premium. And number 3 is the alloy wheels. Now these are the 19-inch ones that you get on the top spec, and I do feel they're a little Marmite. I know they fit in with sort of the whole theme of the car, make it look a bit futuristic, a bit sci-fi, but I'm not really the biggest fan of these. You might like them. To me, not one. So then, that was the new Hyundai KONA Electric, a car which still feels like the same old Kona, but very much feels like a brand new car. It has that refreshed look that feels very modern, fits in with the Hyundai range, and ultimately, if you look at their new releases, the Ioniq 5, the Ioniq 6, and the soon new Hyundai Santa Fe, and they all feel very uniform and very much getting with the times. Now, if you want to test drive this vehicle or inquire more, then contact one of our 7 Holcroft Hyundai sites.